TurboTax, that podium. We're set to hear from several Philadelphia Eagles from it this morning. According to the National Audubon Society, a group of Eagles is not a flock. It's called a convocation. If we learn anything today, let it be that. Patrick Claybon here in the NFL Network newsroom, where the Super Bowl is always going to dominate conversation this week, except in instances like last night, when a trade wound up setting everything on its side. Kansas City and Washington agreeing on a deal that would send Alex Smith to the nation's capital in exchange for Kendall Fuller and a third-round pick. A trade on Tuesday of Super Bowl week means that there's going to be a lot of chances to hear from teammates like Kansas City's rookie running back Kareem Hunt. Had a great year with Alex Smith. He was on Good Morning Football today.
Alex is such a great leader and a great quarterback, and he's a competitor, loves to win, and he's the guy you want on your team. And after a great season like this, kind of heartbreaking to see him go. And I know what we're getting from Mahomes, and that's my best friend on the team. We came in together, went through rookie minicamp together, and we always talked about we got to be the future, me and him, and just seeing Mahomes step up, and that last game he played in, he did a great job. And just the guy got a strong arm and can make plays at any time, and definitely having a guy to come in and start now, and him, I just can't wait to see what he brings to the table.
A lot of folks, including Kareem Hunt, excited about Pat Mahomes. Let's go back to Minnesota. NFL Network insider Ian Rappaport back on this blockbuster trade. Ian, let's go timeline here. Who's calling who, and when did it all start?
Well, it became clear even before the Kansas City Chiefs bowed out of the playoffs that they were going to trade Alex Smith. In fact, we talked about it that morning before the Chiefs' final playoff game. They knew that Patrick Mahomes was their future. They've really known it since probably early on in training camp. They knew he was going to be the starting quarterback for 2018. So it was just a matter of what to do with Alex Smith. They knew they were trading him. And actually in Mobile for the Senior Bowl, they had conversations with several teams. Rarely do trades happen this time of year. Just rarely. I mean, it never happens. Usually teams wait and finalize things right before the trade deadline, or right before the league year starts in March. But this deal came together yesterday. There were a couple other teams interested. For instance, the Cleveland Browns were one of those teams. The Arizona Cardinals were another of those teams. But when it became clear that it was going to be the Chiefs and the Redskins, it actually all happened pretty quickly. In the end, it's a third-round pick. It's Kendall Fuller, a cornerback who they absolutely love in Kansas City. They go, and Alex Smith goes to the Redskins and gets a 4-year, $94 million extension for him. And for the Redskins, it's basically a 5-year, $111 million deal, all wrapped up yesterday and will be official when the league year starts.
Yeah, the deal for Alex Smith went through while Kirk Cousins has waited for his deal with Washington for quite some time. Speaking of Kirk, Ian, what's next? What's the open market going to be like? And is it going to reset what we establish as the price for a quarterback?
Oh, yeah, it is going to reset everything. And what life is going to be like for Kirk Cousins, who, by the way, got no heads up, no communication from the Redskins about this, it's going to be really nice and really lucrative. We have not seen a franchise quarterback go on the open market in forever. Of course, there was Peyton Manning 5 years ago, but he wasn't healthy, and that was sort of a limited pool of teams who were fighting for his services. Cousins is young, healthy, very good, and set to make a lot of money. And from what I understand, the teams that are going to be interested in him are really all the teams you would expect to need a starting quarterback. Denver Broncos are certainly going to be one team. They are poised to make a run. The New York Jets are another team, and they just promoted for offensive coordinator Jeremy Bates, someone who runs the exact same system as Mike Shanahan and Kyle Shanahan ran in Washington, D.C. for Kirk Cousins. That'd be another team. The Arizona Cardinals are a team that's interested as well. And then, of course, the Cleveland Browns but that's probably a little bit of a different sell and a more difficult sell for someone like Kirk Cousins.
Yeah, we were expecting to talk the future for Kirk Cousins a lot in this offseason. We weren't expecting to know so much about it at this point. NFL Network
Right.
insider Ian Rappaport live from Minneapolis. Thanks, Ian. We continue our discussion of Alex Smith by just showing you the numbers, folks. He was third in the league in completion percentage, second in yards per attempt, his touchdown to interception ratio, and his passer rating. number one in the National Football League. The first instance of a quarterback leading the NFL in passer rating. and playing for a new team in the following season. Philadelphia Eagles hoping to have a different quarterback back next year after Nick Foles gets them to the Super Bowl. An odd situation for almost everybody involved, but they have fully embraced the underdog role, and we're set to hear from many today coming up in the next hour or so. The Eagles scheduled to speak beginning at 11:15 Eastern Time. Doug Peterson, Nick Foles, LeGarrette Blount, all those folks as we bring in James Palmer live from Minneapolis who have embraced that underdog role, and Alex Smith leaving. That's another story today, James. Alex Smith kind of has a tie-in to this entire Super Bowl, does he not?
Oh, it definitely does, and Doug Peterson will be taking this podium behind us, the birthday boy who turns the big 5-0 today, and he will obviously be asked about Alex Smith and this trade and his thoughts on Alex, and because of their time in Kansas City, and that connects to the Philadelphia Eagles because that's the time really where Alex Smith came in, and that's where Doug Peterson learned about the RPOs, the run-past option that's been so effective with Nick Foles throughout these playoffs, completing over 93% of his passes in run-pass option. You look at how that compares to the Patriots, giving up 5.6 yards per play on RPOs, and it's a rhythm thing. That's the word that we've heard, and I've been with these Eagles throughout the playoffs surrounding Nick Foles. He stays in a rhythm when they're in those RPOs. Doug Peterson has made it clear you don't have to block everybody when you have the ability to run those plays, and running back Corey Clement told me when he stays in that rhythm, it's because we kept him clean. That's where this offensive line comes into play, and they have been so good protecting him. It has been a big factor in how Nick Foles has performed in RPOs and how he's just performed in general throughout these playoffs.
And then, James, over on the other side of the football, Gronk presents a challenge for any defense, any football defense in the world. But what are the specific challenges this Eagles defense will have with Gronk, James?
It's kind of a similar challenge, though, that everybody has with Rob Gronkowski, right? And we go back to the Barry Church hit because that's what everybody's talking about this week, the status of Rob Gronkowski. Well, the assumption is that he is going to play in this game. And I talked to Eagles safety Malcolm Jenkins about it on opening night. He pointed to the Gatorade bottle that was on his podium, and he said, if I want to hit Rob Gronkowski and I want to knock him down or knock over this bottle, I either have to hit it at the top or hit it at the bottom. I don't want to hit it in the middle to knock it over, but he said that's where the league wants you to hit Gronk. And he said when you hit him there in the middle of his body as fast as he's going down the field, he said it hurts. It literally hurts your body to hit Gronk in the period, in the space that they want you to hit him in. And he said that makes it difficult on us. We're not the greatest of athletes that you think we can be to change our positioning in one fraction of a second. So he said this is the Super Bowl. This is the last game of the season. With as much at stake, you got to go out there and just play with your instincts. But they do know with Gronk on the field, the outside is where Tom Brady throws the football actually more frequently. That's where Ronald Darby and Jalen Mills have to make their hay as these cornerbacks with the Philadelphia Eagles.
Certainly a matchup to watch in Super Bowl 52. James Palmer live from Minneapolis, where we will hear from Doug Peterson in just a bit. Thanks to James. Doug Peterson's play calling has been called aggressive. It's been called innovative. But we're going to figure out how it works. That's coming up next year on Super Bowl Live on NFL Network, which is presented by TurboTax. And after that, we will delve into the offense and defense. You will see what this all means from the mouth and mind of our own Charlie Casserly. We will get you ready for Super Bowl 52 coming up. Super Bowl Live, presented by TurboTax, here on NFL Network.